Hey everyone, and welcome to Television from the Multiverse, the DC TV podcast from MailFuzz TV. I am Peter, that is Connor, and I nailed that intro, only took 4 takes. Yes!
I mean, you called me corner again, but
Did I?
yeah.
Oh, minor quibble, minor quibble. Look,
To the last place, you didn't even do your hole in that corner because you were just so focused on getting through it.
look, we had a bit of a rough start tonight in terms of technical issues. Not because we had it wasn't like a couple of weeks ago when we actually had a proper technical flub. This was just because Skype forced me to update and then completely took over my PC and my mic and wouldn't let it go. It kept automatically changing my levels, which if you're recording audio like we do is a nightmare, because I've heard other podcasts where they don't turn the automatic thing off and you hear heavy breathing randomly, you hear all these different things going on. It's awful, it's unprofessional. But despite the fact that I was telling Skype not to do that, despite the fact that I was having Windows forcibly tell Skype it couldn't do that, it was still doing it. Somehow.
Skype's a dick.
And we never actually fixed it. We actually just circumvented it by using some other software that sort of does fake audio cables called virtual audio cable. And I created a line from my mic to Skype so that Skype's not getting my mic directly, and instead it's just getting the copy of my mic. Therefore,
and that's not a regular a common program that people use. That's something that we've used to solve some problems in the past.
Yes, but we had to, hotwire it essentially to get everything to work properly.
We did have to get a bit creative.
But it did change all the levels and stuff, and nothing sounded quite the same. I was far too quiet at first. We think we fixed it. We think this sounds fine. If it's not exactly perfect as normal, bear with us. But we think it is. We think we've got it in the right place. But it's screw Skype. I hate it.
Been a slow start tonight.
It's taken about an hour to set up. It usually takes a minute, if that.
Yeah.
Took an hour tonight. Anyway. We're here for Television from the Multiverse. Obviously, we're in the off-season. We have our usual off-season content. We've got an episode of Lois and Clark to talk about, an episode of Smallville, and 2 episodes of Young Justice. We do have some news this week, though, because it is actually Comic-Con started today, SDCC.
Yeah.
And we have 2 meaty news announcements to talk about. We have a trailer for Titans, and we have an announcement of a new show for the DC Universe series. Actually, no, we got 3 pieces of news. There was a CW bit of news yesterday. This is a funny thing, because we now record this before the TV news now in the week. This gets the first reactions to this stuff, whereas before it was all second.
Seems fair. This should get the first reactions to these ones.
To these ones specifically, it should, yeah. Unless something breaks during a day on a Friday, which this week it could, because Comic-Con's still on tomorrow, but I feel like they've given us all the DC TV stuff already. You would hope.
Unless there's a sci-fi panel.
Yeah, that's true.
We get some stuff about Krypton, maybe.
But now you get the DC TV news. We'll talk about it again in the TV news, but you get the first take on it here. So let's start with the headliner. Let's start with the Titans trailer.
Oh yeah. How could we not talk about this first?
Holy shit. I was not braced. For how awful this was going to be.
No, and Joe, we've defended the production. I've saw some people say, "Oh, it's had really troubled production." I don't think it has.
I don't know if it has. I can't say to yes or no. I don't know.
No, but for everything that we've seen, and we keep track of these things. I've not heard anything particularly troubling.
Well, I mean, that's just to keep this in perspective. We liked the idea of having a Titans show. We liked that we heard that it was doing all these individual episodes, focusing on different things. We liked the titles. We liked the images of Robin in the suit and Hawk and Dove. They look pretty solid.
Yeah. Can't fault the costume design.
Which is why the first thing that struck me about this trailer, and is true for the entire thing, is how cheap it looks. It's not the biggest problem. I will happily take a well-written show that I love, if it's cheap. I can get over cheapness.
Hey, look at Supergirl.
Sure. This looks cheaper than Supergirl, though.
Oh, it does. I just mean in general, the CW shows often feel kind of cheap, but they can be good.
They are cheap, but they're still network TV quality cheap, though. Whereas
no, that's true. This looks like YouTube video cheap.
Yeah. This looks more like a web series cheap. So it's another rung down. So it's more it's below the level I'm used to dealing with. Therefore, it's more ugh. But again, if the writing was good and I enjoyed the show, I'd get over it. I'd be like, no, it's fine. Enjoy the show. Obviously, you want it to look good, but So it looks cheap, right? But that's of course like okay if they can't have bigger expenses. Although at that point I'm thinking, wait, what's Beast Boy's powers going to be like if it looks this cheap?
Yeah, we only get one little shot of Beast Boy, if I recall.
And
I only dared watch the trailer once.
all I can think of is that they're going to make him more like Animal Man, and he'll have the powers of the animals, but not actually turn into them, which would be lame. That's the point where I would say if you can't afford to do that, then don't make the show.
Yeah, I mean,
because it's not Beast Boy. Sorry?
I said at least he's green.
His hair's green.
Was his face not? It looked kind of green. See, this is the problem. It's so goddamn dark. I can't really tell what's going on.
No, I mean all the new photos, and when I say photos, I don't mean set photos. Like all the new like art for them, he's just like a dude with green hair.
Right, I'm looking through because there's that one shot. No, he's definitely green.
Is he green there?
He's definitely green.
He's not always green though, because in the promo art he's still regular.
Like... Oh, was that promo? Oh, I haven't seen the promo art. I saw the leaked set photos.
But... No, there was new promo art today. There's like big banners up at Comic-Con with them all on it.
Right, I haven't seen those.
And he's just, his regular dude with green hair.
He's green in this shot. He looks like the old Hulk. He looks like the old Hulk TV show.
Oh, that's a ringing endorsement.
I know. That's what he looks like though when I'm looking at it now.
Maybe they will. Maybe that's why it looks so cheap. Is they have to put all the money into Beast Boy.
He's not transforming or anything though. He's just jumping through. He is green, but
so he's going to turn green, and then he'll just have the strength or the speed of whatever animal he's channeling.
Yeah,
which basically makes him.
Colours, I can't actually tell if Starfire's orange or not.
Oh, she's not.
The horrible lighting that they're giving me.
I mean, no. Again, in the promo art, she's not orange. She's just the actress with the hair, which like I kind of half expected, but adding all these things together just makes it feel really cheap. And again, what's the point? If we can't have Orange Starfire, if we can't have like actual animal transformation Beast Boy, then what's the point of doing it at all? With these characters anyway, like sure, pick in some different characters, put in Artemis.
They're not even the biggest problem. I mean,
they're not. No, but I'm working up.
Let me just.
I'm working up to the big problem.
I know, but even before we get to the big problems, I just want to chronologically going through this trailer.
Okay.
It opens with Raven.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit, that acting is awful. Like, not to be rude or anything, but holy shit.
I mean, sure. I mean, it's one of those things where okay, right? So it's sort of like network shitty teenage acting, but like again, like I could get over it if.
It's less excusable when they're meant to be one of the lead characters. That's fine. I can ignore that when it's a side character. Hell, how many times on this show have I complained about kid actors?
Sure, yeah. I'll admit, I never even noticed how bad her acting was because I was too busy.
Some of the delivery when she's talking to Dick in that room.
At first, I was struck with the cheapness, and then it was the edginess. Like, just the general, like, oh, Robin's looking grim and he throws the art at the wall. It's laughable. And then we get to the actual Robin fight scene where he's out there with the criminals. And, yes, there's the infamous F Batman line, which sounds just tacky. Like, this is the thing. Like, I'd expect that. Obviously, one of our complaints is going to be that they're making him Jason Todd. But even if Jason Todd said that, I'd still say the writing was bad. Like, it would still be tacky writing. Even though the sentiment would be more on point.
This is going to become, I'm the goddamn Batman. That became a meme, right?
Yeah, no, it's already a meme. I've seen it on the internet. It's not even been 12 hours.
This is going to have that life though.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be infamous now. Is this F Batman moment, and then like he just starts snapping necks. He grabs the criminals' guns and shoots back at them. Like
I was just watching that again. Yeah. Slower. He does shoot over their heads. To be fair, I mean I don't like he's using a gun at all, but
okay.
He does shoot over their heads.
Okay, again, it was really dark. I thought he shot them.
It's hard to see. Like I said, I just watched it again now, and I'm looking for it specifically.
Yeah, it's rough going. I do not like the entire tone of this, the darkness. I mean, I like blood and gore and stuff, and I like that kind of stuff in movies and whatnot. I don't think Teen Titans is the place to go. I will say this: the only positive thing I could say about it, and this is stretching, but I'm like, you know what? If they want to do the whole like Slade and like Terra thing, this show is actually willing to do it. After this trailer, I'm like, yeah, they'll just go for it.
It's grimy enough, isn't it?
Yeah, it's grimy enough. They'll do it. But that's honestly it. I have nothing positive to say. I have nothing positive to say about the trailer itself and the content within it.
No. Do you want to know one of the biggest laughs I got as well?
Oh, go on.
And unintentional, obviously. Is at the end, it's you got Raven, you see her powers, and it looks shite, obviously.
Yes. It looks really bad. The effects look rough. I mean, you could argue they're early effects. Maybe they'll be spruced up for the actual show.
Yeah, that wasn't what I was actually going to comment on. But she screams, and the logo comes out, and it does this glass shattering effect that's like straight from After Effects or like Movie Maker or something.
Yeah, it's like a stock setting.
It looks atrocious. Like, why would you do that in your trailer? In your Comic-Con reveal trailer?
It feels cheap. It feels. I saw DC's Twitter put a poll up saying, "Oh, what did everyone think of the Titans trailer?" And it was like 2 thumbs up, 1 thumb up, 1 thumb down, 2 thumbs down, and it was like 70-80% were 2 thumbs down. Obviously, I voted as well. Take one guess as to which option I selected, but. My main thing is that Dick saw a character in what do we hate about Batman v Superman? What do we absolutely hate about that movie? It's that characters are not the characters they're supposed to be. It's that they're not those people. And Dick is not Dick in this trailer. There's nothing wrong with the core idea if he wants to get out under Batman's shadow. He wants to become his own thing. But this is so emo and edgy. This is like 2003. We think we're cool bullshit. I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, this is so bad. I have problem with the sound effects. Like, there are legitimate effects in this where I go, like that thunk where he throws the R in the wall, just sounds bad. The bit where he's fighting the gunshots sounds shite. I'm like, come on, you can just get stock gunshots that sound better than that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tanked my entire enthusiasm for all of the live action shows.
That's the thing. It has this, because it's the first one. It has this shadow that's now going to be covering all the other live action shows coming from DC. And the funny thing is they may all be completely different creators, different runners, all that stuff. One we're going to talk about in a minute. Like, I've already heard descriptions from creators that make it sound more promising, but still, there's this shadow of this is the quality of the first one from what we're seeing.
The one I'm most concerned about would be Doom Patrol, because that is directly tied into this.
That's directly spinning out. I mean, that's not to say that it can't work and the spin-off can be much better, because it can. And you never know. Maybe we'll watch the first episode and we'll say, you know what, it wasn't as bad as the trailer made it look. We might, but I can't imagine people who thinking having Robin say F Batman like that was a good idea.
Oh, there's just so many cringeworthy lines of dialogue. What is at the end? It's like, oh, I never used to believe in monsters. I do now.
Yeah. Stock statements. Yeah. Here's my thing. Is I have no problem with there being swearing in it per se. Like, there's definitely funny moments in comic books where they'll censor it, but they'll put in like an F-bomb or something. But it's clearly what it's meant to be. But they'll censor it with the symbols and stuff. And I'm like, that was a really funny moment. And I wouldn't be opposed to like a funny F-bomb here or there, but having them like really seriously, like try and have these dark moments with swearing, it feels so wrong out of character.
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
Like, I get like Beast Boy swearing because he's that angsty teenager, right?
Sure.
I get that. I don't know.
It feels ill-advised in every level. It just does. It's like they watched the Marvel Netflix shows and said, "Hey, we can be even grittier than that. We can go further." And
that's just what we all wanted.
And here, I do want to make something clear here as well. Grim and gritty are not necessarily why it doesn't make something bad. There's plenty of good grim and gritty. Logan, for example, is grim and gritty, and it's fantastic. Like, the Dark Knight trilogy,
Absolutely.
Grim and gritty, fantastic. Grim and gritty is not a problem in and of itself. It's creators using it when it in this case when it's just outright not appropriate for the characters, but also using it because they think it's just always going to be dark and therefore we automatically succeed, when that's not the case. Those good examples, Logan, Dark Knight and so on, are good because There's like their grittiness is used in a manner that makes sense. There's the right levels of grit with the right amount of finesse and script storytelling. And
is the point.
Sorry?
I think ultimately it's just whether or not it's appropriate or not to be grim and gritty. Whereas here, it doesn't feel like there's any point to it other than to be like, it's like, you know, on cable where every so often there'll be a show. It's just, oh, here's some tits because we can.
Oh sure, yeah, no. But what I'm saying is here is there's examples where it is appropriate, but it's still they still go too far. They still try to make it edgy, and it just feels kind of. It feels like, oh no, a 14-year-old wrote this because that's what he thought was cool. And that's what this feels like. It feels like an edgy 13-year-old had a crack at the script. And the sad part about it is that Jeff Johns is meant to be involved with this heavily, and I don't get it. And the funny thing is he was at the panel, like he had a specific panel for him today, and he was talking about Titans and how each character represents a different genre and how it might spin out to different things. And you know, the first season will focus on Raven's story. And one of the things he said is this darker show is kind of based on the more adult stories that the original like Wolfman and Perez run dealt with. And I'm like, I'm reading that right now. Yeah, it's dealing with darker stories, but it doesn't have this tone at all. I mean, sure, it gets dark in places. Like the last issue I read, Trigon, Raven's dad, like he's basically like with his mind like torturing a girl to death, like a young, like, you know, 10-year-old, 8-year-old, whatever she is. And Raven, you know, jumps in and, like, you know, empathically takes all the pain and takes it away from her, and she goes through the pain and fights it, and it goes away. And we think, oh, she saved the girl, and then Trigon just zaps the girl to dust, and she's dead. And it was a really dark moment, but even that doesn't feel edgy though. That just felt like it was a dark. The villain's this evil.
Yeah, I think that's the problem here. Is we don't see any villain in this trailer. There's no. They're not reacting to dark things. That's there is you could have dark events. They can react to dark things. Yes. Whereas here, they're all just dark for the sake of it.
Yep.
So I hate it already. I can't believe we're gonna watch this shite.
I always can't wait now to just out of the morbid curiosity now, but I'm not excited to actually watch it.
No, I'm gonna have to drink. And do this sober.
So speaking of that Jeff Johns panel, he then dropped what the fourth show was going to be, because obviously we have Swamp Thing and we have Doom Patrol lined up for the next 2 live action shows. The fourth show though is going to be one that Jeff Johns himself showruns, and that is Stargirl, which out of nowhere, Stargirl TV show.
So that's jumping in front of the Metropolis one now.
Oh yeah, I think that's just permanently delayed until they tool it and announce it again, like, essentially.
Okay, fine.
But that's what everyone was saying. It's the fourth show. I think even John's phrased it that way as well. Which is, I mean, again, I would love to be excited for this. Because of that Titans trailer, I'm a little bit, you know, hesitant to care.
Yeah. I 2 weeks ago, 2 days ago, 2 hours ago almost, you could have said to me, Stargirl. Yes, please.
That said, remove Titans from the equation. The idea that we're getting a Stargirl TV show is kind of insane, right? And on top of that, he says, oh, you're going to see JSA characters pop up and it might lead to a JSA show later. He said that.
Yes, please. I mean, hypothetically.
Now, someone on Twitter, one of our usuals on Twitter, did actually sort of tweet at me saying, oh, here's something that you said about Stargirl to make you feel better. Because, you know, obviously people could tell that I was like, I wanted to be excited, but Titans just about, you know, destroyed my soul.
I'm still excited for the animated stuff because I assume that's all totally separate. Like, obviously we know what to expect from Young Justice, but the Harley Quinn one as well. Yeah,
I'm hoping like Swamp Thing is going to be pretty far removed, and I mean, I'm sure that'll be dark, but it can be its own dark because it's Swamp Thing, right?
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that...
See, here's the thing as well. What just to look to the Times trailer slightly. When I say, I like dark things, I still like to be able to see them.
Yeah, you're talking about dark visuals there, not dark in tone.
Yeah, I can't see what's happening in half of this trailer.
That's because they're hiding the cheap, like, you know, warehouse they're fighting in or whatever. That's not an alleyway, but you know what I mean, same difference. So, yeah, so Stargirl, but here's the thing that was tweeted at me. Apparently he said it's going to be something like a mix of Superman the movie and Wonder Woman, and have that kind of feeling. That's a lot more promising. That tells me, okay, it's not meant to be anything like Titans. It means that, to me, it might not even tie into Titans. This could just be, you know, Stargirl might lead to JSA and that'll be its own thing. Like that.
Oh, please don't let JSA be just tainted by that.
Yeah, I'd rather not. Yeah.
No, there's no characters there that
actually,
JSA.
well, Hawk and Dove can be, but not
I can take them.
Which actually reminds me of something else. We're talking about Dick Grayson being out of character. Isn't like, you know, Dove supposed to be the avatar of peace? I'm pretty sure in that trailer she's using her metal wings to like slice some dude's throat or something like that.
You know, I just assumed that was Hawk. But you might be right.
You might be right.
It was a quick cut, and I didn't really. Let me, yeah, we'll have a quick glance. Come on. Oh, it's that cheap Beast Boy again.
Oh, my favourite.
Oh no, you're right. That was
quality. So
I'm sorry. I assumed in my head that it was the dick.
You mean the Hawk?
Yeah, no, but he's the dick.
There's a character named Dick though, so let's just be clear.
There is. I probably shouldn't have said that. But,
yes.
You know, context.
So yeah, Titans looks dreadful. Of course we'll try it. Of course we'll review it, but it's dreadful.
How can we not?
Yeah, actually, it looks.
That feels like an infamous conversation in the making already, doesn't it?
It does. It looks like everything I hated about Batman v Superman, and a really cheap TV show. It really does. So,
the one positive I have.
Mm-hmm.
Episode's only going to be about an hour. BVS was a lot longer than that.
This is you assuming we're not watching the whole thing.
Shit.
Why would you assume that? This may be such a train wreck. We have to keep watching it just to see how it goes.
I just assume we'll be busy, and I can't get drunk every night of the week.
Well, yeah, you're assuming it's going to up all at one time. I'm thinking it's weekly.
Okay. Pair it with Arrow.
Yeah, pair it with Arrow. Back to back.
Christ, I don't know if I can take that in one night.
Here's the weird thing, though. I actually don't know what I'm like more worried about watching now. Season 7 Arrow and season 1 of Titans. I don't know which one I'm actually dreading for quality more. I mean, obviously, I'm more curious about the first episode of Titans just because it's new, but like beyond that, I don't know which one I'm actually more scared of.
I think Titans, at least Arrow, I'm kind of used to it, right? It's shite,
yeah.
But I know what level of shite I'm getting into each week.
Jesus.
And I know what level of drunk I need to be.
So yeah, but obviously, I want to be optimistic for Stargirl and the potential of the JSA. I want that to be good. I love the character a lot. I love the JSA a lot. So, because I mean, JSA is the dream DC show, right? That's the dream.
Yeah, JSA is my favorite DC team. I mean, it's my favorite superhero team.
There you go.
It's just like it's the perfect mix because you get something like the Community that did really well is, you know, you have an age range, right?
Oh sure, yeah.
It's not just all teens. It's you got, you know, some younger ones, some older ones, and some you got like 3 generations in there. JSA is the same, the equivalent of that for the superhero, where you can properly have multiple generations of characters just all there. And I mean, the closest we've got right now is probably Black Lightning, but that's on a significantly smaller scale.
Of course, yeah, it's just one family, but
yeah, but I mean,
now Black Lightning is really good though. I mean, in all this, let's remember what's good. Legends and Black Lightning are really good.
They are.
And Supergirl can be great, although it's had some rough patches.
Flash, it's been a while.
Yeah, but it has the odd gem in there. You know, Flash Time is great. We love Flash Time.
Yeah.
So
yeah, really do.
That said, I'll happily rewatch season 4 of Flash compared to what this trailer looks like now.
Yeah, I'm still worried about season 5 of Flash. Don't get me wrong, but
it was interesting.
Suddenly, it doesn't seem so bad.
Is Supergirl season 4? It's actually Supergirl and Brainy who are in all the advertising for it right now.
Oh really?
Yeah, obviously Supergirl makes sense. She's the main character, but Brainy's the one who's with her. The poster looks cool because it's got like Martian Manhunter there and all that, but the reason why I'm saying that is they've got like an ad out, because they're moving it to Sundays. They've got like a little ad for that in Charmed where it's like Brainy and Supergirl sitting there, the 3 girls from Charmed are there, and they're just talking about, oh, Sundays are meant to be this and blah blah blah.
We did get some casting for Supergirl as well, didn't we?
You're right. I didn't have that up for this. Again, this is the problem with it being before the news, is I don't have all this ready.
Just what springs to mind.
Yeah. Now we'll get that up. That's important.
Yeah, we got Sam Witwer.
There you go. I knew
Season
who it
4.
was. Yeah. He is playing a villain. He
is Agent Liberty. Yeah. In the show's interpretation on the character, Agent Liberty is the ruthless and terrifying founder and figurehead of Children of Liberty, a hate group that supports a human-first world order.
Yeah. They also announced. We missed this at the time. It was just when I was looking through this cast in New Zealand the week. They actually announced a transgender character as well.
Did they?
About a month and a half ago. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that.
So got a couple of new characters. So obviously, I think this fits in with the theme of the show, is having this evil character who's essentially a supremacist against aliens.
Yeah, I mean, it ties in with stuff that we've been doing for seasons at this point.
Yeah, makes sense.
I mean, my only fear is, especially with Supergirl, is it's just too blunt with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, yeah, I like Sam Witwer. I don't hold the Smallville stuff against him too much.
I mean, I don't have any particular. I mean, he was in Smallville. He was in that really mediocre Star Wars game that I played for about.
It was pretty good. It was a pretty good game.
30 minutes. I was bored. And then
I like him for a lot of voice work. I mean, on Star Wars, he's done a few voices in Star Wars. He's done Maul, and he's done Palpatine at points. But I've watched do a few like Twitch streams and stuff as well. Like, it's cool.
But the more interesting CW news.
Yes.
Is that they're officially developing a Batwoman TV show for next year. So I assume that means for fall. It feels a bit late to have it ready for January now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not impossible.
Sometimes they start mid-season stuff in the CW on like March. So I mean, it's not ridiculous out of the question.
It's not impossible, because obviously we've got the crossover, which notably Legends will not be a part of this year.
Yes, they said that this week as well, yeah.
Yeah, that was news.
Yeah, it's just Supergirl, Flash, and Arrow this year's the crossover.
Yeah, which, I mean, disappointing, because I like the big 4-part thing.
Do you know, I wonder if that was a plot choice, where like Legends is doing this thing with a trap somewhere for an extent, and it was like, no, we can either mess this up and try and tie it in, or we can just leave it alone.
Yeah, or from the other side of things, in the same way that the Flash had to basically write out a bunch of characters like Wally, because it's too overpowered. It's too easy to solve the problems, and they're just like, well, let's just get rid of them.
Just keep it Trinity.
You bring in the Legends, it's too easy.
There's too many of them, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I can see that. Obviously, I'd like next season to go back to having everyone, but
yeah. On the bright side, though, if the other shows are being shit, Legends doesn't get dragged down.
True. That's it. Even when they're being shit, the crossover tends to still be quite enjoyable.
It does, to be fair.
Yeah. The only one that I didn't really like was the one that introduced the Legends. Actually, was the Hawk focused one.
Yeah.
That was a bit rough, but so yeah, Batwoman TV show. We're not surprised. The only thing I'm surprised about is how early we're talking about it. I said when it was announced that this time next year we'll probably be talking about a Batwoman show, and that's still true. We're just getting it much earlier than I thought we were.
Yeah. Like I said, I feel like if they wanted to, they could rush this out for January, February time. Given that they'll already be casting Batwoman herself for this crossover, in which that usually airs around November, December, right?
Yeah, end of November, start of December.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not impossible that they could fast track it and get it going.
I don't think January. I think if it's coming mid-season, it'll be like March. I think they'll do that because that'll be right around the time that Legends and Black Lightning will probably be ending.
No, that's true.
And that would be a nice time for it. And then you can have the 10-episode or whatever season then. And
yeah. I'm just thinking if they want to do something similar to what happened this season, where we had like a few breaks here or there, like Supergirl and Legends, shared that slot. If they want to capitalize on that crossover and just get in as quick as possible. I can see them doing something similar.
I still think it's capitalizing, even if it's a few months apart.
I agree, but I feel like they'll want to be as quick as possible from their perspective.
I don't see it hitting in January. I really don't.
No, that's fair. I think it's unlikely.
I think we're just too close to it now at this point. As for the show itself, though, I mean, I think a Batwoman show could be fun. I actually have to really laugh. I saw some really uninformed people on the internet Your, I guess we'll call them, well, just idiots, I suppose, but bigoted idiots.
That seemed rather nice of you.
Might be more accurate, but I'm just trying to play nice with my language here. Not that they deserve it, but people, there's some people who always complain about diversity and complain about like all this. Obviously, some very uninformed people were complaining, "Oh my God, they turned Batman into a woman and gay." I saw someone say that on the internet this week, when obviously completely different character.
You just want to punch someone in the face, don't you?
Who's coexisted with Batman in the comics for now over a decade. So
Yeah, I think my to go back to the show itself, my only concern is something that we talked about when this crossover, we were expecting this news, is how does it differentiate itself from Arrow? Not in obviously it's characters vastly different.
Yeah, I think you differentiate it with because Arrow doesn't really have much in the way of like, the actual character of Green Arrow as a symbol is important, right? So I think you do it with the idea of the bat and the symbol and the mystique around it.
The tiny part of me that likes to be an optimist every so often is going, maybe this is Arrow's replacement.
That would be lovely. Unless it ends up being so terrible that we actually like, no, Arrow, come back. This is worse.
Oh God, it can't be that. I mean, I say that having just watched that Titans trailer.
Yeah, I don't know. But no, hopefully it's good. I mean, admittedly, I like Batwoman quite a bit. I don't like her as much as the Batgirls. Although, interestingly, like, Steph is getting shafted because she's the only one now out of all the Bat ladies who doesn't have a project of some kind. Cass is apparently going to be in the Birds of Prey movie. Babs is getting a Batgirl movie, and now Batwoman's getting a TV show. Poor Steph. Steph is just somewhere in limbo. She better be in this.
She's just eating waffles somewhere.
We can have. She can be the Batgirl in this with Kate as an ally. Let's do it.
Why not?
Do it. Because let's be honest
you know
here.
What? You say that, but this is a CW show. They're gonna throw a big team around her.
They are. They're going to throw a lot of like Bat-related characters. Maybe not the biggest ones, but I would not be shocked to see even someone like Tim.
A reasonable level grab. Yeah.
Even Tim's someone that you may end up seeing in this. Again, thinking the fact that Dick's in the Titan show, if they do a Nightwing movie or whatever, it'll be Dick as well. I can see someone like Tim being in there.
Yeah, could be.
I don't think it's impossible. And then, of course, much like Supergirl uses a lot of Superman villains, but not the A-listers, I feel like we're going to get a lot of B-list Bat villains popping up.
Hey, there's plenty of B-list Bat villains.
There's tons. Now, if Kite Man's not a big facet of this show, I'll be upset.
I'll tell you now, we need Kite Man, hell yeah, and we need Condiment King.
Condiment King, I love Condiment. He's more of like a D-lister than a B-lister.
Yeah, but that's one of them you just throw in for a joke episode.
Condiment King's great. Yeah, I like him. So no, it's fun that we'll have a bat corner on the CW, and hopefully it works out. Obviously, arguably there's less hits than misses right now with their shows, but they can bounce around in terms of quality. So I'll give them this. They tend to be very easy to watch, whereas that Titans trailer was giving me like boring Marvel Netflix flashbacks.
Yeah, no.
So we'll see.
I mean, what's the worst it can be? I'm gonna regret these words someday, aren't I?
Those words. But here's hoping. So we're getting a Batwoman show. Mostly, I mean, I've not greenlit it yet, but it's in development, and it'll probably go through.
And it's a CW, so it's probably gonna happen.
It's probably going to happen. And we'll see how it goes. And I can almost guarantee that we'll get like a world's finest thing with Supergirl and Batwoman at some point. It's too easy.
I'm alright with that.
It's such an easy thing to do at some point. It just makes sense. So let's talk about the shows though, right? So we've waged war on Titans, and we're going to have that conversation again in the TV news, and we'll probably have it again in the regular comics from the Multiverse, because Matt, I think, needs to jump in with an opinion on Titans.
Yeah, he's going to want to vent.
He is. So
no, what I mean is, he's going to want to shout.
He's going to want to shout. Because sometimes DC make him want to shout.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so, yes, Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, Season 1, Episode 15, it's called The Ides of Metropolis. So, full spoilers, of course, for each episode as we talk about them. So this episode, a wrongly convicted man is found guilty of murder, but then escapes, but hides out in Lois Lane's apartment, and for the duration. And she has to she has some jokey back and forth with Clark, but the main theme of this one is adultery, because Jonathan Kent believes that Martha is cheating on him with a younger man. At the same time, the murder plot, the guy who was accused was supposed to be having an affair with the wife of the murder victim, but the whole thing is a cover up because the murder victim faked his death, and he's actually
this got convoluted real quick at one point in the episode, didn't it?
He's got an insane computer virus plot where he's going to infect everything on the planet. And I'll tell you, the moment that really cemented this in 90s cheese for me was the scene where it cut to the evil lair, and the bad guy, the aforementioned murdered guy, he's initiating the virus, and he presses a couple of buttons. The entire time he's in a really shadowy room, there's all these monitors, he's wearing a coat and a fedora as he does this, and then he laughs after he presses the button. He's like, ha, 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 ha. He's got the hat on, and he's got the dark trench coat.
Fedoras make everything better.
It felt so this is not what a computer villain looks like when he's actually doing the computer stuff. This is a mobster from the 1930s pressing a computer key.
And then you have the brilliance of the solution of, oh no, it has to actually be physically on site. This magic disc.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not like the way they describe it is basically magic. Like the way they go, it's like, you'll just do it, it's fine. Yeah, we'll cover it.
Yes. And Lois and random cop lady who's here this episode kind of end up bonding and saving the day for the most part. I mean, Superman helps with the virus stuff, but it's mainly them.
Yeah, but they have a nice little moment in a trash compactor.
They do. They actually have a trash compactor scene. That's something that happens. So this is not a great episode in terms of plot, by no means.
No, it's not.
There is a lot of really fun scenes sprinkled in throughout. My favourite though, so Lois is hiding the guilty innocent man, right? The found guilty innocent man who's escaped. He's hiding in her apartment, and she wants to tell Clark. It's like, Clark, tell me your biggest secret quickly. And obviously that's really funny because he's Superman, and he's like, no, why? Oh, because I'm about to tell you mine, and I want blackmail material. I'm like, okay, that's kind of adorable. This is kind of fun, the chemistry between them, as they're going back and forth. And she eventually tells him, and that's okay. So that plays out, and they go talk to him and whatnot. But the scene that I love related to all this is a scene where they're kind of bickering about it, and they're both on the phone, and Perry just walks between their desks and just sort of, and they both go quiet, and he just looks at them, and then he makes them come with him, and they go into
into his office.
Into his office, and the conversation they have is like one of the
glorious,
best conversations ever. Where he's just like, "No, I know. You know about. I know about him. You know? Of course I know. Officially, I don't know. But if a man in my position didn't unofficially know, then I wouldn't be a man in my position, would I? So I know.
But remember, as soon as you leave this room, I don't know.
No, but just know that I know. You know. It's a great. It's wonderful. And it's basically the same 3 lines of dialogue over and over, but the eyes are making each one have a different meaning, and it's just
great inflection.
It's gold. It's fantastic. It's a great scene. There's no cat in this episode. There's not a lot of Jimmy. He's just kind of around.
No, I'll say one of the other great scenes is in the gym.
Oh yeah.
Clark takes his father to the gym. He's like, "Go then, we'll go work. While you're here, spend some time together."
Yep.
And obviously Jonathan's like, "Hey, there's a woman over there. I'm gonna make Martha jealous."
Yeah, a woman who's like not even half his age.
Yeah. I did feel it was really obviously like, "Hey, we haven't got Kat this episode."
Oh, you feel like that was supposed to be
filling
Kat?
That role. No, like not actually her.
Okay.
But she was just filling the same role of, just I'll come in and do these bits.
All right. Okay. I can kind of see what you're saying.
It felt like it could have been written for Kat, but she was ill that week, so I'll quick get someone else in.
Yeah, I can kind of see it. So no, we got that. Honestly, I mean, and then Lex is like, he's not actually involved in the shady plot for a change.
No, there's a couple of times it's been that actually, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but he's like, oh well, this virus could have taken down everything, so we should want to use that, and so what we'll do is we'll make sure I own it in the future.
Yeah, because typical Lex, right?
Yeah, pretty much. So that's him. But there's a funny gag there where Clark and Lois go to Lex, and he's shooting. He's with the discs on the roof. He's shooting them out into the skyline of Metropolis and firing his gun. And Clark's like, "What have you miss?" He's like, "Miss, please, Mr. Kent, come on now." And at the end of the episode, he's doing it with night vision goggles. He's doing it in night time because, of course, he's Lex. And he fires them out, and he misses one. And him and Nigel just look over the edge, and he's like, "Nigel, could you get the lawyers, sir? Yes." And then there's an awful CG shot of the building of this disc coming down and presumably hitting someone in the head.
Yeah, it's kind of laughable, isn't it?
Which is funny because the chances of actually hitting someone in the head with something falling out the sky like that aren't that high. Like, there's a lot of space around people, especially at night time.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's the thing. Most people are, inside.
But it is a busy, city. So
It's a busy city.
So
yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, could do.
But there you go.
There's only one way to test it, right?
Oh yeah, sure, yeah. Go for it.
Yeah.
But that is Lois and Clark. It's not a great episode, is it? It's a really cheesy 90s episode.
Not.
There's some fun scenes because again the cast kind of make it work. There's some really sweet moments with Lois and Clark, and that Perry stuff is gold. But it's a really weird, convoluted plot obviously
it seems so ordinary for a while. Like, okay, he's guilty. He's found guilty, but he's not really. And it's like, and then it's him and the woman accusing each other essentially. And it's like, okay, I get it. It's okay. Who's right? Who's wrong? We go through the alibis and like, yeah, this seems normal enough. And then all of a sudden, the guy shows up, and it's, oh, okay, this is something else entirely now.
Yeah, and I guess my other big thing is when he actually turns on the virus, like, you get all these like effects on the monitor, like it's all these like digital, cubes spinning, and like it's
That's
like
the 90s for you.
It's 90s, like, yeah, hacking, it's this cool shit. Yeah, it's a weird episode. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on then to Smallville, season 1, episode 14, and neatly, this episode has been titled my score out of 10 for it. It's called Zero.
This is one of the rare episodes where I saw the name and I know exactly which one. I don't need any other information.
Really, I didn't remember
usually
this.
I'll get 2 minutes in, I'll go, okay, I know which one this is.
Yeah, I couldn't remember this one at all. I have no recollection of this episode.
Oh, I remember it for being that bad.
This is an episode where it's about this incident 3 years ago at a Club Zero, or was it Midnight Zero or something like that? Zero Consequences.
Club Zero.
Zero Consequences. Was that the full name of the club?
Oh, I don't know. People just call it because I know a few times they just say Club Zero.
That's fair. Anyway, so Club Zero, and Lex was there with a lady, and they go upstairs. We know she's engaged. We think, oh, Lex is being sly, but what he's actually doing is intentionally bringing her there because he knows that her fiance is cheating on her with 2 ladies, and she sees this, and the guy gets really upset. Oh, this is you, Lex. You did this on purpose, and he comes to attack him.
He definitely did.
Yeah, of course he did it on purpose. He's Lex. We know how he works. He's manipulative, but at the same time, he's kind of doing.
It's not that bad. I mean,
no,
he's just
a good
showing
reason.
her the truth.
Yeah. I mean, his real intentions might be a bit murky, but like, I can't argue that I would want her to know in situations.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, exactly. And you can't just tell her. You got to show it. Out the proof, right?
So we see a version of this scene where the guy, the fiance, stabs Lex in the shoulder area, and then this bodyguard guy that Lex knows is there as well, and we see the fiance get shot. We actually see this scene another couple of times throughout the episode because the story keeps changing as to what happened, and then it changes later on, and Lex is the one who shoots him, and it's like, okay, all gets covered up. We actually see the corrupt cop from a few episodes ago, in this flashback, and he comes in and like, okay, so this is the story. You were never here, Lex, and he sort of clears everything up. And then the final time we see it, the actual twist is it was the woman, Lex's friend, the fiance, who shoots him, and The entire plot turns out, because obviously in present day we see the guy who's supposed to be dead. He has Lex hanging upside down. He's tormenting them. He's sabotaging things. He's sending presents. The bodyguard dude, his hand shows up in a box as a present, and it's like, okay, so he's doing all this stuff to cause trouble, and we keep seeing the guy who's supposed to have died. He's like, oh, maybe there's some like kryptonite reason, as usual on this show, why he's still alive or something. Who knows? But the actual revelation is that no, he's just a guy who looks a lot like the guy that died, and it's the brother of the woman who wants the revenge because she killed herself like a year ago because she was so guilty about what happened, and he blames Lex. But then obviously Lex reveals, no, it was her that shot him. It wasn't me. I just tried to help.
That's why she's guilty.
Yeah, that's why I helped cover it up, because my dad wouldn't cover it up for her, but he would for me. So I took the fall, and then it all get covered up.
Quite noble of him.
It's reasonably noble, yeah. It's almost quite nice, Alex. But I couldn't believe, she was like, oh yeah, I walked into this grill and found him, and I was like, oh, my luck. I'm like, really, that's what we're going with? He just found someone who looks so much like him.
I think I'd prefer the kryptonite bullshit explanation. At least that's just in keeping for the show, right?
In this case, I'd prefer it, absolutely. This was a convoluted mess of a plot. It was awful. The flashback scenes in the club were awful. It kept playing.
How much do you hate that song?
Yeah, that song, I hated it by the end. At one point, the bad guy actually puts a portable CD player underneath Lex's dashboard to play the song. And I actually laughed out loud when Clark used his X-ray vision and he just sees the disc spinning, and I went, "Oh man, that takes me back."
Yeah.
Playing music on a CD, my God, how far we've come.
I guess you can still do it in the cars. It's probably like the last bastion of CD players, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know by now that you just hook your phone up, Bluetooth, whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel like CD players are still common enough in cars that. I mean, I feel like tape cassettes lived a lot longer in cars.
They did,
because they were just there still.
But this is not the CD player in the car. This is a CD. This is a portable Discman
strapped
to the dashboard.
Yeah.
When was the last time you saw someone with a Discman?
2003.
I might have had one after 2003.
I don't know. I'm guessing. Can't be far off that.
Probably not far off that, but I mean the iPod wasn't for a few years later.
That's fair.
MP3 players did exist, but they were kind of like, I don't know. I remember like the one kid had one, and it was kind of weird. It was like, oh, how does this work?
Yeah, I had a shitty MP3 player. I mean, it wasn't shitty at the time. Don't get me wrong, but
I had one
by today's standards, very shitty.
My first one that I was all excited about, and I got like a I can't remember the brand, but it was a proper like electronics brand. It wasn't like some unknown thing.
Yeah.
But for the storage was like really big versus like what you'd get with an iPod. But the damn piece of shit crashed all the time. It was a right mess.
I remember my first MP3 player was on like 128 meg.
Oh yeah, I never had one that small. I was always obsessed with the idea of getting my entire collection onto one device.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing, because I got one quite early.
Yeah. Like
before the iPod was a big thing. So before all the competitors were there going, oh, we can do one. So my first one was 128 meg, and you got, I mean, because MP3s took up only a few meg at a time, so you got maybe 30 songs on it. I actually keep meaning to buy an SD card for my phone so I can just use that like an iPod, because like I hate having to use services and stuff. I like just having the collection's there. Yeah, I just use Spotify, and because obviously I'm a chill.
But sometimes you have like weird things that aren't on Spotify, like specific versions of things that you've tracked down.
You do, but I feel like I have enough space on my phone for the odd thing here or there.
Nah, mine fills up so quick. Storage space is tiny. I need to get an SD card. After the graphics card.
I mean, they're pretty cheap.
They are pretty cheap. You can get a nice like 20 something gig one for like really cheap. So.
Oh yeah.
And that's going really cheap. You can get a.
Joe, it's funny, on storage. I feel like it might have been on this show last week. We were discussing, how
zip drives and shit.
Yeah, we were talking about floppies, right? Yeah. Was that this show?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, because it was the bad guys had the disc from Lex.
You're right. Yeah, and we were talking about there's the picture of like the stack of floppy disks and then like just a USB stick,
Mm-hmm.
Why does no one ever just hold a micro SD card? Those things are tiny,
They are tiny, and
you get like shitload of space on them.
yeah, those are like hundreds of gigabits now. Those tiny ones.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've got a 128 gig one.
Yeah, so
and they're tiny. They're like fingernail sized. Screw a memory stick. I want one of them.
So anyway, what else is happening? So yeah, so Chloe's doing they get a class project to do like basically like a biography of another classmate, and they're all randomly assigned different people in the class, and Chloe ends up with Clark, but she's an investigative reporter.
He gets the shaft once again because he gets the character no one's heard of.
Yeah, he gets the random off-screen person, and then Clark gets Lana, which honestly never actually factored into the plot that much. Like he just says he did it off-screen. It doesn't actually matter that he got Lana.
Yeah, small mercies, right? I mean,
yeah.
there was no Lana at all in this episode, was there?
Oh, there was some. She was at the
she
Talon,
was at the,
getting it ready.
But yeah, that's true. I forgot about that shit.
But
no kryptonite this episode.
That's true. No kryptonite. But we get scenes of Chloe looking into Clark and asking Jonathan and Martha about how they adopted him, and it gets really awkward because they can't just say how they did it because obviously it wasn't exactly the traditional method of going through the adoption agency. And Chloe digs into it a little bit, and there's some suspicious elements to the story, and Clark gets really upset with her, trying to get her to drop it, and she says she will, but of course the final shot of the episode is her again. This dialogue
delete
box,
or save.
Yeah, it's either delete or save is the options. I have never seen a computer word processor of any kind give me those two options side by side like that. But whatever.
Yeah, it's always so you close. Oh, you're about to close without saving. Do you want to save it? Yes or no?
Yeah,
or cancel.
Save yes or no or cancel. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
but whatever.
But, I mean, that's the thing. I thought Clark he reacts quite angrily, understandably. He's like, hey. Because to him, it just plays of stop it. Don't look into this. We can't be having you find out the truth. But I think it does play in scene because it's like, hey, I don't want to know who my parents are. I've clearly not looked into this.
Basically,
you shouldn't be looking.
It's a personal thing, and I think in a normal context, he has the right to be a little annoyed and say, no, I don't want you to look into this. I don't want to know this stuff. Leave it alone. Yeah. I think that works. It doesn't
Which is why I think it is a proper dick move for her to save it at the end, right?
Yeah. It just kind of shows that she can't let things drop. Now she doesn't find out though until, if I remember right, season 4. So
yeah, she finds out a couple of times and forgets.
Well, I'm not counting those. I'm counting the proper. She finds out and that's not for the rest of the show.
A while. Maybe season 3.
No, I'm sure it's 4. It's after Pete leaves.
Right, okay, because Lana's 5.
Sure.
Yeah, I think.
I'll take your word for it.
Is that just one of the ones where she forgets as well? I don't know. It all blurs together.
I don't remember Lana finding out. I just remember that when she comes back briefly, much later on, he has to stay away from her because she becomes like kryptonite becomes part of her.
Yeah,
and she has powers as well, but they can't be together because if he gets close to her, he's in pain.
Yeah, I think I'm thinking of the 100th episode.
Oh yeah, that's the one where time rewrites. He goes back in time and changes things. He pulls a flashpoint. It says, no, not quite a flashpoint.
He does a bit, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did he do that again? Was that like a Mixie thing? No, it wasn't Mixie. Mixie was earlier than that.
Yeah,
doesn't matter. We'll get there one day.
We'll worry about that in 2 years.
Yeah. So that's a bit of a dick move from Chloe. Mostly though, the episode is
does nothing.
Pete does nothing. There's a lot of things. One of the things that the villain does is he puts toxins all over the Kent farm where all the cows are, so all the cows die. And Jonathan.
Which, speaking of. They do have cows, because I remember having this debate a few episodes ago whether or not they were just crops. I was like, I'm sure they got cows.
Okay,
the whole herd. I mean, they did have a whole herd of them.
They did. Don't anymore. I'm right now.
You're temporarily correct.
But yeah, so Jonathan looks heartbroken and really upset, and Lex offers to I'll find out who did this. Also, obviously, I'll pay for all the cattle you've lost. And he goes, money. Do you think money solves everything?
Yeah, I feel like Lex gets the short end of the straw this episode because he doesn't do anything wrong all episode.
He doesn't. No.
Like this here, he's genuinely like, look, I don't know what happened. It's clearly something to get back at me. I'll cover it. I'll do everything I can.
That's
and so, you know, he's really genuine.
When the bad guy or the lookalike bad guy like goes to Lana for the job application, and it's just like a sort of warning, and he says, "Oh, hey, that Lex Luthor, you might not want to trust him. You know, anyone who gets close to him, you know, ends up bad." And all I could think was, but nothing in this episode actually is Lex's fault. I mean, we know he's going to be dangerous later, and we know that he does have skeletons, but nothing in this episode actually points to any of that. So
I feel bad for it. He's an upstanding, genuine man all episode. You know, we were talking about in the flashback. He was showing the woman that she was being cheated on. He took the fall for her so it would get covered up and her life wouldn't get ruined. You know, here he's still trying to support the Talon because reasons.
Yeah, when LexCorp like toxins kill all the cows, he's like, "I'll get to the bottom of this. Obviously, I'll pay for every penny you're losing out of this."
Yeah, I'll sort the whole thing out.
And Jonathan's like, "Oh, you think money will cover this?"
And then he gets trussed up instead. You know, hung upside down and then threatened.
Poor Lex.
Oh yeah.
Poor Lex. That's all I'm saying.
He didn't deserve it. I mean, not this episode. He didn't deserve it.
No.
Normally he does, but this time, no, it was all right.
So finally, we have 2 episodes of Young Justice. The first one, which is episode 10. Oh, that can't be right.
Oh, I think it was 8 and 9.
8 and 9, you're right. No, I'm looking at which ones. I've already clicked on these 2 episodes, so I jumped my eyes to the next number. Episode 8 is Satisfaction. Episode 9 is called Darkest. So that is what we're going to be talking about here. So sometimes I really struggle like separating the two, because when we watch 2 of them together, and I always watch them back to back pretty much. So it's sometimes a struggle to actually like.
Yeah, so what I always do is I always watch one first, then my Lois and Clark and Smallville, and then the last Young Justice, just so they split up a little.
I like to get Smallville out of the way. I'm determined to just get that off. So it's okay, right? That's that done. Everything else is gravy.
I push it as long as I can, because I'm like, I don't want to watch it.
Naturally. So, first one here, we have the real Roy Harper. Basically find out what's been going on from the duplicate Roy and Green Arrow, and then gets really pissed at Oliver because he basically gave up. The duplicate Roy was determined to find him, but Oliver's like, whatever. We got a Roy here. It's fine.
He's like, hey. Not the clone's fault. He didn't ask to be cloned. He didn't know he was a clone for a while. He just, lived his life.
And he did keep looking for him. He didn't necessarily have to, but he did. And this episode is that real Roy breaks out of the hospital. He gets to one of the stashes of all the weapons and shit, even though he's only got one arm, and he goes off to hunt Lex Luthor, because Lex is responsible for this. And he goes to Lex and uses a rocket launcher to try and kill him. I actually laughed out loud when Lex says to Mercy, he's like, "And that's why you spend a lot of money on a custom desk, dear, after surviving the explosion." That really made me laugh.
Yeah, I did like Roy. I think we should probably call him Speedy at the minute. Speedy and Red Arrow, just to differentiate.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so duplicate Roy is Red Arrow, and then the original is Speedy / Artemis. It becomes Artemis. Sorry, Arsenal, yes. Sorry, this is the problem, because the second episode's got a lot of Artemis talk, right? Arsenal.
Yes, Arsenal.
Also an archer.
Yes. Yeah, doesn't help, does it?
Arsenal, right? But so yes, he's Arsenal. So.
I did like him with the rocket launcher, being like, I love modern weapons. Rocket launchers, easier to shoot this with one hand than it is to pull up my pants.
That was good. So he's fighting Mercy's like the robot, of course, and he's fighting her. So there's a big action sequence, and ultimately he wraps like explosive like cable essentially around Lexi's arm, and they have a bit of a standoff. And that's ultimately, but Lex gets out of it. He gives him a case. We don't get to see what's inside it. It's a mysterious case.
We do.
Do we?
Yeah.
What do we see?
He gives him the arm.
You're right. Yeah, we do see that later. Yes, he shows that to Oliver. Yeah, this is the problem with watching 2 episodes back to back. But yes, he gets a robotic arm off of Lex, and he
like the ones that Mercy has essentially.
Yeah, a bit badass. So he's like, "Yeah, I'm Arsenal now." And that's actually how we end the episode. And then there's a subplot where there's a bridal shower. It's also Connor's birthday. It's the first birthday he's had where Megan's not throwing him a party of some kind.
Yeah.
But we have Megan at the bridal shower, and they're all happy. Well, she's not happy. She's kind of moody because Lagan has been captured.
She should be throwing a party.
And she should be throwing a party for Connor, and she's doing neither of those things. She's not doing Lagan, she's not doing Connor, she's not doing anyone. She's really upset about it. And just randomly, I almost thought this episode was jumping the shark, because I felt like after the Connor scene there was a lot of random things kept happening, and one of them was Captain Cold just showing up out of nowhere right next to their bridal shower and just like trying
to rob a bank.
Just to rob. Yeah, it's an armored car. He freezes he's got like a freeze sniper rifle almost. It's not just the regular freeze gun. And he goes to get it, and then all this amounts to is that the all the superhero ladies all appear behind him, and it's like all of them, and he's like, "Oh, I'm screwed, aren't I?" It's like, "Yeah, you are," and all of them run towards him, and that's it. That's the entire plot. It's fun, don't get me wrong, but it's very random.
It is a bit random,
and on its own, yeah. But whatever, I'll take it. It's fun.
Yeah, I think it's probably the first time in the show where something has felt that just random, right?
Tell this season.
Whenever we've had, yeah, but even the first season, a lot of the times where things felt random, by the end of the episode, it was like, oh no, that was actually part of something.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
This is the first time where it was just random and it stayed random.
Yeah, but hey, so that was the first episode. It was enjoyable. It was nice. It made sense to give the original Roy some spotlight. And the action was very over the top with bazookas and seeing him having to fight around the fact that he only had one arm also made it a little bit more inventive than normal. So I think that
I did enjoy all the Roy stuff.
Yeah. So then the second episode, of course, which was Darkest, brought in the Aqualad stuff back, and the awkwardness of the other team members wanting to rip off his head when Nightwing's like quietly just sitting there being like, maybe I should tell them.
Yeah.
And they also introduced the idea. This was actually in the episode before this, but it gets destroyed in this episode. Is the Hall of the Fallen Heroes, like in the basement of the cave or the mountain? There's like Artemis is there, and Ted's there.
It's a very Titans thing.
Very Titans thing, and they're Bart's like addicted to these snacks. He's like, I don't have these in the future.
What are they called? Chicken whizzes.
Something like that. Yeah, sounds alright.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'd go for a bag of chicken whizzes.
I can imagine what it tastes like. It's fine, but yeah. So the episode here is that there's a whole thing where Aqualad is coming to the mountain to basically try and kidnap Blue Beetle. That's the goal. He ends up kidnapping a couple of the others as well. He kidnaps Bart, and he kidnaps who's the third person he kidnapped?
That's a good question. Because it's not Superboy. It's not Nightwing.
That's not Mal.
They're left. It's not Mal.
Who is left?
It's probably someone with a metagene, right?
Yeah. I can't remember who the third person is he kidnaps. Beast Boy.
Yes.
Beast Boy, yes. So he kidnaps him. But so he comes, he's got a bomb and all that, and it doesn't actually go off when he said it would. He said as soon as he pulled his finger off, it wouldn't.
Yeah,
it wouldn't
he had
go
a dead
off.
man switch.
Yeah, but it didn't. And he's got he's with the Terra Twins and Icicle the Third or whatever he is, the young Icicle, and because we don't have enough cold villains. But these were the characters, of course, we saw back in the Belle Reve last season, and they referenced that a couple of times, even down to the fact that Icicle's got a crush on her, even though he never met the real one. He met, it was McGann pretending to be this character. But there's also this, was it Tigress she's calling herself?
Yes.
It's actually obviously Artemis in disguise, but the face that we know she has now. But the whole thing is obviously he passes some info to Nightwing, and Nightwing reveals that at the end to Wally, because Wally shows up being pissed that the mountain's gone, and he's like, she's in trouble and all the rest of it. But we see that that's still going, and the episode ends with this was all to prove to the light that Aqualad was trustworthy, that he was
and now he's in.
Now he's in, and we end with him. We hear them say, "Oh, now it's time for you to meet our partner, our mysterious partner," and we end on that. That's the cliffhanger. So very, very curious as to who that might be, and it's also, again, the themes of the episode are set up really well early on, where the other villains are questioning, like, can he be trusted? Because he did used to work with the Titans. It was only a year ago he was trying to put us back in prison.
Yeah, and you even throw that across to Wally and Dick, where Wally's going, hey, look, he did lose, he lost all of his life, and then he found out about his dad. Are we sure he's not triple crossing us?
Yeah, and I don't think he is. I think this is Wally being especially paranoid, especially because he's concerned about Artemis. But
Yeah,
it does play with the themes of the episode and bounces it back round, and it maybe makes us wonder going forward, like, is he trustworthy? Is he doing the right
just
things?
maybe it just because obviously when he first showed up, we were like, oh, I don't like this, and then last episode, it's like, don't worry, he's still a good guy, and
Yeah.
you know, you feel good, and then now there's just that seed of doubt again. You're like, oh, but what if?
Yeah. I think what's neat about watching two of these though is they do kind of like bounce between each other, and the first one was very Roy focused. This one was obviously dealing more with the main plot with Aqualad and the infiltration side of things. So it was nice to sort of get them together like that. And then the subplot here, small thing, is Mal wants to have a date with Bumblebee, but she's so obsessed with her research at university right now that she basically just kind of ignores him, and he eventually gets really upset because, you know, at first she's like, oh, just give me an hour to like get some of this work done, and then we can go off and do something like we used to do. But then Ray comes in and he's like, these tests ready, and it's like, oh yeah, it'll, it should only take 2 or 3 hours tops, and he's just sitting there in the back and he just walks out. He's like really like a sad puppy. It's upsetting.
And then he goes out and saves Nightwing from drowning.
He does, yes. He goes out and saves Nightwing. And even Wolf, Connor's got Wolf because they're all in the water after the explosion, and Connor's like dragging Wolf back.
Yeah.
And the cycle goes to repair itself underwater into a ball.
It'll be back in a glorious return.
I'm sure it will be. It'll just come in like
just
a wrecking
right
ball.
when it's needed most.
I'm sure they got the rights to the Melody, even though that song probably wasn't out when this came out. But it doesn't matter.
I don't think it was. It's definitely in there.
But it'll be in there. Wrecking Ball is going to play when Super Cycle pops back in.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Obviously, I was really enjoying Bart and Blue Beetle, having a bit of time together.
No, that was fun. Bart's really so far working for me. He's got
He brings a lot of energy, doesn't he?
He does bring a lot of energy. I'm also liking how Crash and moding are still a thing. That's so mod. That's so Crash. I'm digging that. That was the title of last week's episode, by the way. Was Crash and the Mod. Just you won't know that. You don't necessarily check the titles, but that's what it was.
Yeah, you read them out.
Yeah.
But I often don't remember them because, why would I?
Yes. So hey, but yeah, it was a solid. I don't think it was as good as a pair of episodes as last week's was. I feel like last week's 2 episodes were the 2 best episodes of the season so far. I think that's still true, but
yeah, I agree.
But no, it was still solid.
I think this second one here though is a particularly good follow up to those.
Oh sure, yeah.
Dealing with a lot of the fallout. I mean, I think that's the thing. These two, they're really dealing with the fallout of those episodes. Okay, the one's dealing with the fallout of the Roys, and then one's dealing with the fallout of Artemis and and that stuff. So it does play really well in that sense. Yeah.
So no, that's good. But that does wrap up all the shows this week. So by all means, let us know what you thought of these episodes in the comments, like and subscribe and all that stuff, and get us on the Twitters. Of course, head over to patreon.com/MailFuzzTV, and you can support us over there, even for as little as $1. That is like an amazing, that's a big help. $1 is a help. But if you can't do that, of course, you can do all the other stuff, like and subscribe, and all that helps too. But there's bonuses over there if you want to go check out that out. And there's also a nice handy list of all the shows and all the audio feed links and all the rest of it. So it's handy for that, even if you don't want to be a patron. But other than that, that is us. So thank you very much once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV shows and superhero shows and things. This is a really rambling outro. I feel like all the issues before we started have really put me in a weird place for tonight's show.
Yeah.
And add on to that all the news at the start and the Titans trailer.
Yeah, and you know what I've just kind of noticed? We're both kind of blending into our sides on the video here.
What do you mean?
If you look, you're kind of wearing a grey blue shirt, and then my shirt kind of just matches the colour. We're kind of just blending. I feel like we don't usually do that.
All right, fine. You know what? I'll fix it.
Oh God, what's he gonna do?
I'll fix it. I'll tell you what I'll do.
I'm a little concerned. So I'm sorry, video people who are seeing this.
I can't do it in there. Hold on.
Oh God. This is definitely not what. Right. Oh, okay. That works.
Yeah, now it's contrasting on both sides. Sure, the title's backwards, but
we pop.
It pops better. Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's what you want. You want us to pop.
That's us, guys. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. And always remember, that sometimes we screw things up for the better.